Alright, so this is my Autel Maxi Sys. Here's my pass-through box, J2534 tool. It's also made by Autel. Now, this can be used separately from the scanner as a standalone pass-through with a laptop. Got with the GM programming, and I'm mostly addressing this to our administration that had questions. How it works, subscription, the free subscription that Autel pays for us as part of ownership and subscription to the scan tool is normally this is a Bluetooth module, and it's also the programmer. So when not used as a programmer, it's our Bluetooth communication to the vehicle for the scanner. But when used as a programmer, go ahead and plug it in like you would normal. Actually, before you plug it in, what you want to do is you want to establish a USB connection. That way when this thing boots up, it will show as indicated that it's connected via Bluetooth. USB instead of Bluetooth. Otherwise it'll automatically. So, it is on. It's thinking, that's what the red light means. It will eventually switch to USB connection. Goes. Now that it has, here we are at the home screen. This is a 2008 Suburban. Now, we had an evap code on this one, and it turned out there was no available updates that were relevant for this vehicle. I already checked, but just as an informational guide to show what we're doing here and how it works, because there's some guys that had some questions on how this programming thing works for Autel. Mostly I'm filming this for Bob, so he had some questions. So I open my scanner, I hit Diagnostics, then auto detect. It's going to auto detect the vehicle. Now if I go back, offload the vehicle, I can choose between my manufacturers here, but the way I like to do it, is I like to auto detect the VIN, and it will. And you can see that it's auto detected the vehicle here, showing the VIN number, asking me is that correct, and it is. I'm gonna select yes. It is a Suburban. It is auto AC. It is under 86,000. I'm sorry, 8,600. It is without Z95. And because I already know what codes are in there, I'm not going to auto scan, but I could hit diagnosis, I could hit auto scan or select control units individually. I don't need to. What I'm going to do is do programming and customization. Programming. Now, once you hit programming, it's a basic set of instructions that anybody who does programming like we do here at CBA, it's the basic stuff you already know. I'm going to leave it here for a minute if you want to pause this and read the screen, but basically start with the key off, battery fully charged. We use a maintainer, the whole 9 yards, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit yes. It's gonna, once again, it's gonna re-VIN the vehicle, just like TIS2 Web would, asking me, is that the correct VIN? And if not, I need to correct it. It is the correct VIN. I'm gonna select OK. It's asking me reprogram ECU or replace and program. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Obviously replace and program would be putting a new unit in. Reprogram would be if you wanted to flash things. If I hit this button and go to the next screen, it is going to connect to their cloud base where they have all of the ISOs that they've purchased that match this VIN. So it's going to take this VIN and run it through their cloud base, and it's going to find all the available. It's going to give me a just like TIS2 would. It would give me a list of modules that are updatable on this car. So here's my list of modules that are updatable on this car. For example, if I go in engine control module, and it's going to look different than TIS2 because it's a different operating system. It's Android, and it's their OS, their version of Android, their modified version of Android. It's not Windows, so it's going to look different. But in this case, there are no available new updates. For example, the main operating system in Bob, if you wanted to go a little slower here. I know you're probably going to want to run some of these numbers. Main operating system here would be the selected calibration and the current calibration. Now obviously they're the same. If they weren't, selected would be red, current would be black. I can drop down and show that when they say selected, it's because if I was going to select one, for example, if the new calibration listed here in the drop down was different than the current, it would be red here, and then this would show something different. In this case, everything selected is also already current, so there's no need to do anything here. But here's all the operating system, engine operation, It talks about, like, for example, here, we'll drop this one down, new calibration diagnostic enhancement for DTCs P1133 and 1153. But, you know, that calibration is already the current one anyway. Actually, I'm wrong on that one. And I don't know why that's not in red, but typically that would be in red. I notice here we have a selected one that is different from the current. But I don't have that DTC, and I'm not concerned about that. It looks like this is kind of changed. I was in here yesterday, and I didn't see anything. Normally when there's a difference, it shows up in red. But I'll back out of here, and I'll go into a different module. I had some, you know what, I had some lift gate codes. Customer wasn't concerned about that. I didn't really get into it, but I think I have, yeah, power lift gate module. Let's go ahead and see what options are available here. Fix to address PLGM lockup issue, replaces previous part numbers, etc., etc. New calibration for diagnostic enhancements. So it looks like there are some. Maybe they've updated the way this works. Used to, when there was a difference between current and available selected, one would be in red. I can't remember if it was current or available, but letting you know, pointing out to the eye quickly that there was something different available. That seems to have changed since the last time I used it. But anyway, I use it quite regularly, and again, to address you again, Bob, I know you were asking about calibration numbers. The particular vehicle that I made reference to last time, I couldn't find the file on, so I was doing this video to show you some numbers and how it works and what's available here. Again, I wanted everybody to be comfortable. Okay, here we go. Every once in a while, I'll see this where it says, like, on the remote control door lock receiver pass-through only, slave operating system current is unknown. But then it has a bunch of different ones. Don't know if you need to read that. Anyway, my helper here that's operating the camera has to go to the front office, so I'm going to end this session now. But I hope that's been informative. Actually, I'll just take over the camera. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. So now that I think that pretty much explained the way it would work. Basically, in programming, once you selected the particular calibrations that you wanted to keep and unselected the ones you didn't, and then continued on, just like SPS and TIS2, it would go through and it would give you all the given steps for that, for the module you were working with, be it key on, key off, operating different things, functions, pulling fuses, whatever the case may be. And it would walk you through it, and when it got, and obviously we keep a maintainer on it, just like we would anything else we programmed with any of our other equipment. And when it gets to the end, it'll give a specific set of instructions, whether read codes, clear codes, just different stuff. There's usually no real specific instructions because, when you're doing basic modules, but whatever that is. I'm going to go into automated diagnostics now and show what happens on my screen. Again, it is identifying the vehicle. One more time. Anytime you switch between programming and scanner functions, it does that. Suburban, auto, under, without Z95, diagnosis, auto scan, There we go. It's going to go through and it's going to auto scan. Another reason why I like this scanner is because if even if I pull this connection right now, which I obviously wouldn't do, start over. If I was programming, it'll reconfigure for Bluetooth, and I can take the scanner away. Typically, it sits on my toolbox over there, and I'm over there writing up another car while this thing is working for me, generating a code list to get started. You know, because when we're busy, we put out a lot of cars, so it'll get started for me, and it'll scan a lot of times it'll scan modules that Snap-on won't see, or some of these other, even OTC and stuff like that won't see. It'll pick them up. On my Snap-on, I rarely see more than 10 or 11 modules in a BMW. This thing picks up between 40 and 50 every time. Real live, actual existing modules that it'll generate information and talk to. And anyway, what's cool about it is when it does finally generate a list, I can hit my print button and it'll print that list over there with the VIN number and everything. So that's always been good for me too. Or I can save it. A lot of people get the misunderstanding that we're going to be programming multiple makes of cars with this tablet and the pass-through. In fact, that's impossible because the operating system that it runs off of won't work with any of the other OEMs. It's only working with GM because they've designed it to. And I know their GM system requirements on TIS too. I have that account and also use it with my laptop. Here, let's hit report. But somehow they've got it working here and it seems to do pretty well. But not only that, but you can't navigate the sites because the ticks and things on the pages don't work correctly. I don't know why that focus has been so bad. There we go. Alright, so these are the codes I was working on. As I'm scrolling through, it'll list all the modules and how many faults. But we can get on down here. Engine control module, here's 2 faults. Door switch, here's some faults. Liftgate module, signal short to ground. And you know, I would attempt to do some sort of diagnostics or research first. But you know, we were in that liftgate and we saw some updates for a diagnostic plausibility. I mean, who knows? You know, customer wasn't concerned about it, didn't really want to spend any time on it. So, but anyway, here's what a list looks like. And typically, I would hit my print button there. It'll pop up a dialog, say James Printer. Hit yes, go, and it would print. I'm not going to do that here because I've already done that. I already have this. What I'm going to do is clear DTC. It's going to go through and quickly erase them all for me. So, of course, if they persist, you know, then it'll still show. All we did here was the evap vent solenoid and with the modification filter and the sub harness and the canister. The reason why I like the ability to clear all modules without having to go in and out of them, one, it's quicker, but two, when I clear it and if this vehicle comes back for any reason, any codes that exist at that point, I know for sure are persistent codes. Yeah, that's GM for you. I love them. I wouldn't drive anything else. They like to kill batteries. Mine does the same. Anyway, yeah, pass, no fault. Again, I filmed this video for 2 reasons. One, because some of the administrators where I work had some questions about how this works and the ins and outs of it. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Also, because I know there's not very much information out there on this tablet. So with that, I'm going to close this video.